Hey guys, hold on, my grandma. Hold on a second. My mom's not home and I hear her saying something. Hey, grandma, what are you saying? No, I'm okay. No, she's out. Have whose name? No, you're gonna call. Don't come up here. Whose name? I just started a live. She'll be home. No, my mom will be home. No, my mom. What I'm saying is, my mom's gonna be home in a little bit. She needs to get the food, okay? Nobody's here. It's my disease. She's not here now. I know. She'll be back. She's gonna be coming. She just went to get some food. She's gonna be getting some food. She's going to get some food and she'll be back, okay? Yeah, she just left. She went to get some food. But be careful. Just I would stay downstairs because you're gonna fall. She'll be back. Okay? Well, you come back, come down, and get the room. Nobody's here. I'm working. Nobody's here though. Nobody's here, Grandma. Oh my Lord, guys, I don't know what to do. Sorry, I don't even know if anybody's in here. Oh, dang it. Yeah, she's telling me I have to come because somebody's in the middle of the table. There's nobody there. My mom just left. I keep telling her, like, she went to go get food. She was heading upstairs. I'm glad. That's why I went out, because I heard her coming up. She's going to come in. I don't know what to do. She's like, you have to come down here and get the person. She thinks there's somebody on the table, but there's nobody there. But there's nothing to do, Patty. Like, here's the thing. I'll explain to her, and then she doesn't understand. So it's like, I will be there until my mom gets home saying the same thing over and over. She doesn't understand, like, English. It's crazy. It's just hard. Because, like, I'll tell her she's there, and she's like, no. Where'd she go? She's, like, starting to see things now. I don't know. I'll see what she says, because there's nobody there on the table. And it won't be like me just telling her that. It'll be over and over. And I don't know. I can't explain it, but I just cut my finger with my knife. Hold on a second, guys. I want to finish those readings, but let's see. Because normally she ends up being okay. And my mom should be back any minute. Oh, that burns. My mom should be back any minute, so there's nothing I could do. I don't know. Oh, I cut my finger. Okay. She's saying, please give it to me. Why? There's nothing to give to her. My mom will be back any minute, though. Okay. No, but she doesn't understand either. Like, when me and my mom talk to her, she doesn't understand what we're saying. So she really doesn't. She don't understand. She's getting pretty bad where, like, she speaks like non-sentences too. I know she has dementia. Plus, trust me, I know Lolly Jolly. I've been living with it for a couple years now. I know I 100% understand what it is, but it's like you can't talk to her because she can't really understand what you're saying. So I word it like she doesn't understand English. Of course she knew English in her time. I'm just saying, like, she's not understanding anything. And she's actually not speaking it very well anymore either. Like, she'll, like, say sentences that don't make sense, like, literally, like, words that aren't words and stuff. I know what it is, but it's just hard because there's nothing I could do to make her feel better. So, but yeah. Yeah, it's like worse. just like I would say in the last month, it even got worse. Like, where she really is hallucinating things. She's coming in. Shoot. I don't know what to do. I want to finish these writings because I can't be on late.
Who's gonna take care? You?
My mom's home. She's home.
I
I
can't
just
take
my
it
mom's.
there.
I hear the garage door
Somebody's
opening.
gonna have to take their name and come down and give it to, because I'm gonna go to bed.
Oh, you could go to bed.
Oh, no,
Yeah, you could go to bed.
Nobody named the names. Nobody. Another one, another Mrs. whatever, who it is. And that's why I'm coming. That's why I'm coming up, because I can't get their names. That shouldn't be. Give their names, please, because I want to go to bed. Now you look like you would give me a what?
I look like I'll give you what?
Yeah, the bed, the name of the person. Yeah. Oh, okay. Please come down.
My mom's home though. She's home. She just got home. My mom. Yeah, I just heard the garage door open. She'll be walking in a minute. She is. She just got home. Like, watch, you'll see.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's home. She's home. Go ahead. Yeah, the garage. Yep. See. See? Yeah. See, she's going in. Mom. Can you? No, she wants to. Well, I don't want her. You can explain it to her what you're explaining to me because I don't see anybody down here. Just my mom just got home. I know. Joy. Yeah. Get in right here. She wants to. Mommy, I got to down here. No, she was trying to get me to take the people's names downstairs before she went to bed. I want to go to bed and she don't have her name, you know. You have to have her name to go to bed. Oh, all right, I'll put it down right here. Okay. Oh my God. Oh Lordy. It is kind of funny. So I guess I had to get the imaginary person's name so she could go to bed. I don't know. My mom's home now. Dang it. It is funny in a way. Like it's almost like you have to laugh about it because it's so the other day my mom said she's like gave my mom money and then Zeke was sitting on the couch, which is our dog, and she goes here, I'm gonna give Zeke money. And my mom's like, what's Zeke gonna do with money? He's a dog, you know. And she goes, he'll spend it like everybody else. Oh my God. Yeah. I hope it's not you. It's probably me. Because my grandma had it, my great grandma had it, but it's almost like she's 95 years old. So it's like, it's almost partly like old age. I mean, she didn't start getting it until she was in her late. I mean, she started getting a little bit of dementia, like almost like normal old age dementia type stuff. But she didn't start getting like really bad until she was in her 90s. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it's like old age, really. I mean, I know it's worse than old. I mean, I had another grandma, my great grandma that lived past 90, and she was fine. Her memory, I mean, she was fine. She wasn't like this. So I guess it is something, but I mean, you're 90 years old, you know? So it's like, and my other grandma started getting it when she was, I think, in her late 80s. So, I mean, I guess it's somewhat genetic. It's kind of scary to think about. But I mean, when you reach that age, I mean, it's partly old age, I would say, too. I don't know how to describe it. I was talking to my mom about it. I'm like, yeah, it is dementia. I mean, it's more to it than that, but it's also a part of like her aging because she is pretty old. Like she's almost 95. So, and like I would say up until she was 90, she was pretty good. Just the last 5 years is when she started getting really bad. Actually, the last 3 years after my dad died, we all got COVID. That's when she took like a huge turn for the worse. When she got COVID real bad, when we all got COVID real bad, that's when it got to a point where she couldn't even stay up here anymore. This used to be her room. And ever since that, she's been now downstairs in a room that we used to have a couch in, where there's no door, because and now, like, she used to be pretty independent. She had this room. She would take baths herself, do everything herself, take her medicine herself and everything, until about 3 years ago. So it's pretty good. So she was like 92, so in a way it is partly age, but I mean, it's definitely past. I mean, she is hallucinating in it. So I guess, I don't know what you call it. I have something in my tooth. I don't know, like, the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's. I heard one time people say it's just an insurance thing, like how they want to bill it. I don't know though. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's definitely to a point, like, she's hallucinating. She's not be able to speak like in sentences a lot of the times. She'll like talk different words. She sometimes doesn't think this is her home, and she'll yell at us to take her home. Um and my uncle watched her the other day when we went out for my mom's birthday. And my uncle said he went home depressed, which would be his mom, right? So imagine, like, him having to, like, we're taking care of her, but like that's his mom too. He just watched her one night, went home depressed, because he said, she's like, "You're heartless." She called him heartless, because he was trying to just explain to her that she is home and there's nowhere to take her. And she called him heartless. And I guess he like called his other sister, was like, "I'm so depressed." It's like, try living with it every day. We got to live with it, I mean, he comes over one night and he's all depressed. It's not easy. Okay. Oh, thanks, Charlotte. Yeah, we do. We somewhat do play along with her, but it's sometimes it's not good enough. Like, I know sometimes it's like, just agree and then she'll be okay. But sometimes it's like, it's still not good enough. So it's like, how do we take care of this? I just started my life. I know my mom will be home any minute. Um, it's like, if I go down there, I mean, I guess I did. I mean, I did, and I knew my mom was gonna be home. She came home, but, I don't know. But thanks, Charlotte. Yeah. Okay, change the subject, yeah. I don't know. Feel like I'm not I'm not good at this, but my mom says I'm more patient than her. She's always like, "You're a lot better with her than me." I don't know. Um, yeah, no, I know what you meant, Betsy. I know what you meant with her. Um, okay. She gets, like, mean too. Like, she gets really mean with us, and then she, like, gets mad at my mom can't she goes anywhere, she gets mad at my mom for leaving. Um, I never go anywhere. I barely ever go anywhere, so I'm always home, but, like, yeah, my mom she gets so mad when my mom leaves and thinks that, "How come you left me?" Like, almost 100? Wow. Yeah. My other grandma, which would've been her mom, had it, but they put her in a home, a nursing home, and my mom and my grandma would go visit her a lot because she had her own home, and it got so bad where she wasn't eating. She was putting she had this, like, what was it, a banana peel? She would put on, like, the lampshade or something, and, like, they'd ask, like, "Why do you have the banana peel on the lampshade?" She said, "That's to let everybody know that I'm okay." And then they would find, like, her dinners weren't eaten and the oven was left, just like things where she couldn't be left alone. So they put her in a nursing home and they just go visit her and stuff. So I mean, like I said, I think she was in her 80s when she got real bad. My grandma's mom, she was so cute. She used to come over. She'd have a wig on, and she would have it like crooked and backwards, and the tag would be hanging out. And she was like, and it would be like hanging off, or it was just so, she was so cute. She was funny. So it is a big difference if you don't live and have to be taken care of them, because I loved when she come over and hanging out with her. She was hilarious. But when you're like constantly living with him, it's not that fun anymore, but it was so cute. Like I really would be like, oh, Grandma Julie's coming. Her name was Julie. Like, Grandma Julie's coming over, yay. Like she was just so hilarious. She would like tell these stories. She was like really ornery. She acted like a little teenager. It was cute. But I don't know if it's because I feel like this grandma is like more mean, but I don't know if it's because I'm living with her and I'm seeing her all the stages of it and seeing her every 24 hours a day, or if she is more mean and Grandma Julie just was like a more fun one. I don't know. But I didn't live with her, so. But yeah, she yells at us. Oh my God, she's so mean. Her, I mean. My mom's like, it's just the disease. It's just the disease. Because I always ask, I was like, was she like that? Because it's her mom. I was like, was she like that? Like certain ways that about her, I'll be like, was she like that when, growing up with her? She's like, no, not at all. I was like, okay. I do love old people, but it is weird living with them. It's not weird. It's different, like having to like almost like be here and take care of different things with her than to just go visit. Because we had this thing called senior service in high school where we got to pick different services, and I loved the old people. We went to like nursing homes where we got to pick. So you could do like little kids, you could do mentally like the handicapped kids, you could do old people. So you got to pick which ones you like. The first couple weeks you go to a bunch, and then you pick which ones you would want to go to every day. And I think we did like 4, like certain days you go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on certain ones, and then you get to switch like another couple days a week. I used to love the old people. The nursing homes we go to, those were my favorite because they told stories and they were hilarious, and it was so much fun. But it's different when you have to take care of one. You know what I'm saying? It's just not as, I don't know. It's a little bit different, but me and my mom try to like find humor in it and laugh at the cute things she says, because you have to, because like all the other horrible stuff, because she is really mean at other times too, but it's like she'll say things that are hilarious you don't realize are hilarious. Okay. Like also she says, this was months, I had told this because this was like last year, she said this about Zeke not having any pants. She wanted to get him some panties. Some panties, like underwear. She's like, "What? We need to get him some panties." Because she constantly thinks Zeke's a girl. She calls Zeke a she. Like, what's her doing? And yeah. And then some pants. Can I get him some pants? But also underwear. She wanted to get him some. Um what else? Oh my God, now I forget some of the funny things. And my mom, she'll just like we'll just like look at each other and laugh, like, okay. Like, what is she doing? But my mom just did that. She'll be like, okay, I'll take her name down before you go to bed. And my mom just looked up at me. We just kind of laughed. Oh my God. But sometimes she'll catch on and she'll be like, what? Yeah, why are you laughing? Like she gets like mad because we try to not like laugh in front of her, but sometimes it's like so funny we just have to be like, oh my God, what is she doing? It's too much sometimes. Oh, but we typically like talk about it afterwards and laugh. But like I said, sometimes there's something so funny in the moment that it's like you almost can't like hold it in. Like, wait, what? But we always usually try to include her and like laugh with her, be like, "Girl, it's funny," and like get her to laugh with us. But anyway, all right. Now I feel like I had like 60 people in here now. Half of them left because people don't like when I talk about personal stuff. Okay, so let's start reading the stuff. Yeah, I know. It's crazy though, because like I said, my grandma Julie, I didn't see a mean bone in her body. Like she was always just funny and hilarious, but like I didn't live with her, so maybe she was mean too. I don't know. She was almost like ornery mean in a way that it was funny. Like it was like told my mom she had like a fat butt, and like, but it almost like in a cute way. I can't explain it, but it just seemed different than what she does. But like I said, if I lived with her, maybe I would have thought different. Oh, let me share my screen. She's like, Julie, you got a fat. She said the word, not but. She said, you got a fat. And then and this was at the nursing home, and then she said something like, uh, she ended up saying the nurse had one, and then my mom's like, shh, she could hear you, and my grandma was like, she can't hear anything I'm saying, and the nurse said, I hear you, Julie, I hear what you say. And then she stole these guy's boxer shorts. I guess she went into his room. This is when she was in the nursing home. She went into his room and like went to his drawer and stole his boxer shorts. Oh my god. I would have loved more time with her. I always used to like look forward to like hearing all the stories when they go visit, because I feel like a lot of the time it was when I was not living at home. I was like away somewhere, maybe in Bowling Green. And I'd get to hear the stories after when they would go sometimes, but all right, you guys ready? We're going to read some of these things. Now, remember I was like looking over them yesterday, and these writings seemed a lot more interesting than the first ones. I kind of wish I would have went through them and started off with the more interesting ones, because I feel like now I lost a lot of people in this case. It is really interesting though, and I'm going to finish this. And then we'll try to find another good case. The boxer. Oh my god, that's too funny. She was something else. Okay, so wait, 181? No, 273. Okay, that's where we left off. 273. Okay, let's start. Oh, cool. I know, and that's why I'm like, you know what? I gotta finish these writings, because there are some people, not a lot, but there are some people that are actually into this case that actually want to see these writings, because these writings aren't out. These weren't at the trial. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna still do it, even though if there's only 60 people. I think it's interesting, and there are some people that really want to hear him. So this is for you guys. Okay. Oh, hi everybody though. Hey Sarah. Hey Cuff Mirabella, Elvin, El Jolly, Patty. Okay, let's start this. Yeah, these ones they were more interesting. When I was skimming through them last night at the end of the live, I was like, ooh, these look pretty good. Okay. So where are we at? Did I already do this one? No, hold on. It must be. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, so when he was reading the messages, remember, between them? Wait. Well, hold on. I skipped this page. Why don't I remember this part right here? Did I read this? I think I skipped this page. Hold on a second. These are the texts that he was reading, and I thought I finished these. Wait a minute. I don't remember any of these. Okay, remember the breakouts. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I want to see where I left off, because some of those I don't remember. I wonder if I accidentally skipped some. Just give me 1 second. Hold on. Please, I'm sorry. I wrote down the page number, but I really think I did skip a couple. Just hold on. I'm just going to go right back where the page I was on. Hold on. Okay. Option 3. Hold on. Option 1. Hold on. Oh, never mind. I did read them all. Okay. Wow, I must have been so freaking tired. I don't remember reading those last couple pages. I read them. I'm glad I checked so I didn't read them. Oh my Lord, I was really tired last night. All right. Okay, let's continue. So this is where we left off. We probably don't have to read this. The option one, this is like, I get 60,000. I owe her 164,000. I get ML in bar. So those, I think, are the properties, right? I pay her 1,583 a month. That's option one. And then 41, 400. Wow. Wait. 410,000 plus 1,585 a month, $60 cash. So that's how, And then option two is I get 0. I owe her 1,000. I get ML and bar. I pay her 965 a month. 350 plus 965 a month, 0 cash. Option three, I get 1,000. I get bar, I get ML, and I get a new house. 113 equity. I don't know where he's coming up with all these options. I get 310,000. I get ML. I get bar. I get Duck Cove. So he's trying to weigh out all the options he has. Okay. Now let's start reading some of these. So it says, went snow and water skiing. We traveled alone and with the kids. We went on house tours. We took the kids to Sunrise Apartments to do VBS. She would dress up for me and did things to make me happy sexually, but several things happened that changed all that slowly over time. I had questions that no one had any answers for about God and the Bible. I had doubts that I could not shake. Every spiritual, mature guy in my small group struggled with porn more than I did. One of them is now a pastor at my church, and I am told still struggles with it. Our small group dissolved when he became a pastor, and somewhere this time I began looking at porn again. I can't remember exactly, but I think I may have begun asking Denise to watch it then. We started back in Scottsdale, Arizona. I will never forget the rush I felt when she asked me if I wanted to watch porn on the hotel room TV. She was into it, and so was I, and we had awesome sex for a long time that night. It made me feel totally honest and connected with her because neither of us had to lie and pretend we didn't like it. The strongest feeling I remember was just a feeling of being reunited with her. I always got the biggest rush, not from my orgasms, but from hers. I loved holding her when she came. And the more dirty the porn or the story or situation she would come in, the better. As we all know, it didn't last or satisfy. I wanted more and dirtier things, and she went along with some things, but not all that I wanted. Obviously, I was using her and not loving her, and I am sure that was hurtful, and she became progressively angrier and more resentful of me. I also spent too much money while not working enough, and we began eating into savings to cover our escalating bills. Somewhere during all this, the Mike Williams investigation and witch hunt began. This led anger. This led to anger and shame and withdrawal by both of us from the world. I went to church and went and lied at small group, but my spiritual life was dying. Denise seemed to check out spiritually as well. We went to church and did devotions for the kids. We would fight more and more, but we had good times too. But a few things made things worse. When the economy collapsed, I realized our finances were in trouble and cut back on my spending. Denise, meanwhile, was just beginning to ramp up hers. Her codependency began to shift from me to Ansley, and I found myself competing and losing the battles for Denise's attention. I did a couple of things that really shifted her codependence. I went to a doctor about vasectomies and lied to her about it. And when Ansley had half-assed when Ansley had half-assed cleaned the bathroom and it was covered in dirt, I grabbed her wrist and led her to the bathroom to put her finger on the floor to show her how dirty it was. She made a big scene and Denise bought it, and she didn't try to hide her disdain and disrespect for me from then on. Our properties and house became a shambles. Shambles, that's what my grandma Julie used to always say. That's so funny. Every time we drop her off, because every time we were at my grandma Mary's, we'd take her home to her house, and she'd always do the same thing. We knew what she'd do. She'd have my dad go in and walk her in, and she would open the door and be like, nobody's in here because wait, how did she say? If anybody broke in, the house would be in shambles. And said the same thing every time. My dad would come back and be like, yep, said the same thing. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, it's not a word I hear a lot, so that's funny that I hear it, and we were just talking about her. Anyway, where are we at? Oh, where did I just go? Oh, Denise's life progressively became controlled by Ansley, and their selfishness increased while my porn addiction gave me refuge. I fantasized about cheating and would look at websites and fantasize about Denise and I being with hookers or other couples. We were both turning to idols to make ourselves feel better. She would stay up in our bedroom. We didn't even watch TV together. She didn't even hide her feelings in front of her kids. Then Ansley began to pick up and copy her disrespectful attitude, and I found myself outnumbered. Denise and I used to be on the same page on parenting issues, but she changed. Now we don't seem to agree on anything. She has totally changed her views. She used to be different from the other moms, but now she and Ansley follow right along with the crowd they hang with. Whether it's inappropriate clothes or music or movies or relationships, whatever. She is 6 months behind all the people she used to say she didn't agree with. Her attitude now is she's going to do what she wants to do. I can't control it. So March 2012, Denise and I have a disagreement, and she is totally disrespectful to me in front of Ansley again. And I leave and go to my office, and I look at Craigslist ads and fantasize about hookers and cheating. Somehow later, Denise finds this on my computer and goes and tells Eric. This was the end of my world. My drugs were being taken away, and I was desperate. I tried to say anything I could to hang on to my drug, sexually addictive behavior. And I did and said horrible things to Denise, tried to bargain with her, used having babies as a bargaining chip, threatened to lie to her if she didn't let us keep the porn. I am sorry for both of those attempts to manipulate her. I know they are both hurtful and continue to be harmful to us trying to reconcile. At the time, I don't think either of us really cared about Jesus or our spiritual lives. We were both just pissed and hurt. I was pissed that I was losing my partner in crime, my best acting out buddy. She was hurt and pissed that I betrayed her so badly. So the next few months were like a snowball rolling downhill. Neither of us cared about our spiritual lives, and we were both just hurt and angry. Denise's fixation and enmeshment with Ansley accelerated, and I was left alone, which hurt me. Then I would get angry, which hurt her, and made her retreat even more, which hurt me, which made me angry, which hurt her, etc. It was an endless cycle of hurt and anger, which led to her further medicating herself with Ansley, entertainment, shopping, and eating. I medicated myself with porn. Since day one, since day one with Eric, Denise was pushing to separate. I resisted it, and every time she brought it up or rejected me in a way, it was very hurtful. So Eric's probably was their counselor, I'm sure, their therapist. We should have started professional counseling at day one, and I wish Eric or our church would have recommended that. Or maybe he's somebody from the church then, huh? It doesn't matter now. It didn't happen. But I think that should be their policy, particularly when dealing with cases like ours. Anyway, her withdrawal and acting out with Ansley increased, and so did my hurt and anger. We all know it culminated in the argument we had where I grabbed Denise's arms and scared her, and she ran out, and I kicked a ball and busted her figurines. So I hurt her even more by doing all of that, and she kicked me out, which I deserved. So I was given an 18-item list of demands by Denise, which included going to an intensive treatment for sex addicts. I did everything on the list. Then I was given a new list along with no thank you or recognition of fulfilling the first list. Then the bar got raised again when Denise separated our finances. Throughout all of this, I have worked hard on myself, spending time and money trying to become healthier. In the meantime, Denise seems even more in denial and unaware of any issues that she has or is working on. She continues to live in her fantasy world of TV, movies, shopping, travel, Ansley's social and athletic life, sleeping, eating, and spending money she doesn't have and paying for it out of savings. Her anger and bitterness at me grows weekly. I think she doesn't like interacting with me because I won't allow her to act out without guilt. Avoiding me allows her to avoid the reality of her life. I am a problem in her life, and I remind her of problems in her life. She would rather not deal with it either. It's easier to not pick up the phone. She lies to me and others and herself. Example, lies to Nancy about her mom paying for the Europe trip. lies to me about what she does during the day and at night and why she doesn't answer her phone. She lies to herself. My life is crap. This weekend will be nothing but work. This is my life now. Then parties and shops all weekend long. She acts like all these spiritual things matter so much to her, but her life is a materialistic buffet. She claims she didn't like who she was as a teenager and wants Ansley to be different, but she's raising her to be the same, if not worse. Ansley is so wrapped up in herself, she is nearly intolerable. She is so selfish and manipulates Denise so well, and I hate how Denise has taken her from me. She is my daughter too. I have been her dad and have raised her as my own since she was a child. It hurts so bad to be dismissed as a person as a person worthy to participate in her life. And I fear the damage to her and mine relationship is permanent. I will never ever be happy about Denise taking her away from me for so long. It has made me understand why Cheryl hates us so much. And I will never be happy about Denise filling her head with shit. Wait, what did it say? Why she hates Cheryl? Cheryl hates us so bad. Oh, why Cheryl hates us so bad. Okay. It says like, wait. And I will never be happy about Denise filling her head with shit. Like Honey Boo Boo, The Bachelor, and movies with grown-ups too. So he's saying he doesn't like how she's like watching this stuff with her daughter, I guess. The Honey Boo Boo, Bachelor, movies, grown-ups too. And I will never agree with letting her prance around in her tight, see-through clothes and her string bikini. What kind of wife and mother does that? Does she expect Ansley to be? One who expects everything to be done for her while she sleeps in till noon every day? A wife who rolls her eyes and gets pissed when asked to do any work around her home? I have called Denise's behaviors addiction, which she hates. But if you use the Wikipedia definition of addiction, it says repetition of a behavior despite adverse consequences. Habits and patterns associated with addiction are typically characterized by immediate gratification, short-term reward, coupled with delayed deleterious effects. I don't know. Long-term effects. This describes her shopping habit precisely. She shops constantly, buying things she does not need or sometimes use, and she pulls money from her savings to cover it. We and I will include myself in this problem. Oh, he's saying we, and I will include myself in this problem. We spent over 100,000 in savings over the last 9 months. That is crazy. And the madness continues to this day. I fought the addiction label for months, but finally realized it was true. Unfortunately, we live in a nation of addicts, and we are all in denial about it. Paul Gilbert spoke about it today. We have to realize we are all in a war to fight to stay sober, and we all have our own unique intoxicants. When I asked Denise what her issues are, and how is she working on them, she gets mad first, then says, I don't know. I will have to think about that. To me, that shows a huge lack of self-awareness and denial that she has any problems to work on. I told Josh and Jeff, and today I told Denise, I don't respect or like the person she has become. I did not, nor would I choose to marry someone who acts and seems to want to imitate Deanna Merrill. I didn't marry a selfish drama queen who lives her life through her child and spending money while ignoring her household and her husband. Someone who cusses all the time and is obsessed with her clothes and other people's outward appearances. Someone who likes to travel and eat out and spend money like they are rich, but really they're not. Basically, someone who lives in a fantasy world that revolves around themselves. My mother, who Denise says used to be one of her close friends, described Denise as someone who wants to play all the time and said she's living like a bird who escaped her cage and she's never going back in. Maybe what Jeff and Josh are saying is that I created this monster and I have to live with it and slowly love it to death. It's just so hard for me because I see what she's doing to herself, our marriage, and to our daughter. Jeff wants to blame it on me being a control freak, but I don't buy that. I think these are legitimate issues that have potential eternal consequences. I am pretty tired of Jeff's diagnosis based on his limited interactions with me and Denise. He didn't call me once while Josh was on sabbatical for 2 months. He does not know me, and he does not know Denise. You can't pop in and out of someone's life every 2 or 3 months. Say it's all your fault, Brian. You're not doing what we advised you, and then drop out of sight for a couple of months again. It's not that I don't appreciate the time and effort. I do. I just feel like a box that gets checked off every so often. Not to mention the fact that I share with them, and he goes and talks to Nancy, and she talks to Denise about things that I feel should have been kept between us. If Denise is going to hear all I say third hand and misinterpret it, then we should all meet together. He told her about me showing him the pictures of her disgusting bathrooms. And now she said that Nancy told her that Jeff told him, I don't like Denise. That's real helpful. Wait, that Jeff told him, Jeff told her that Jeff told him I said, I don't like Denise. That's real helpful. And I did not say it, but that's what she hears. I realized again today, Zoda is right about this. We can't communicate. I kept saying something, and Denise would say something completely different. It was like I spoke another language or something. I was trying to tell her how it hurts me when she ignores my phone calls and avoids talking to me, and how overwhelmed I am by all of our problems and all the things in our lives that need fixing and constant maintenance. And she would say, so this is about me doing housework? Or she would say, we can just work all that out. It's simple. We both make good money now. Here is a list of some of the things I am referring to. Oh, hold on. My leg is hurting. Whew. Dang it. Hold on. Let me take a sip. I'll remember to unmute it because I'm making a point. Well, I just want to take a sip of coffee. It's not a letter. It's like a journal. This one is just his journal type thing. Yeah. Okay. Tree trimming at Barrington. We don't have a chainsaw that works. We don't have an adequate mower for Miller Landing. The Duck Cove lot needs bush hogging. The Duck Cove lot needs trees cut up and burned. The Miller Landing yard needs weeding and constant maintenance. Midget needs a new roof. Midget or mid, I don't know. Has mold behind counters. Water leak is this in the sink. Midget's garage is falling in, ceiling. So he's saying what? Here's a list of some of the things I am referring to. We both make good money. I'm confused if he's saying she lists this out or he's saying this is the stuff that needs done, or is he saying she lists? Hold on. Oh, I see. These are all of our lives that need fixing and constant maintenance. Okay, that's what he's saying. The list of the stuff that needs fixing and constant maintenance. Okay. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this down. Hold on. There. Okay. I'm mad that I can't get this out of here. Can I? I wish I could just leave. I don't like that. It's in the way. Okay. I talked to Ron today about this topic, and he suggested I write down some things we talked about. He said I am gambling one way or the other with Denise on this topic. Option one is to take the church's advice and not bring up Denise's issues and love her and show patience, and she will regain trust, and then we can deal with these issues. Option two is to insist on dealing with her issues and insist that she go to an intensive treatment. I am leaning towards trying to do what they have asked about requesting that she go to an intensive treatment. I told Ron I am scared to try loving her like Jesus because I have seen her use Mike and seen my mom use my dad and Denise's mom be a bitch to Warren. I don't want to be used and abused by Denise for the rest of my life. Ron says I could try it for 2 years and get a divorce if it doesn't work out, or perhaps not try it and get a divorce sooner, possibly. Where do you find true happiness? Question mark. What would you like to talk about? Question mark. Confidentiality? Question mark. Eric? Question mark. Denise. I don't like anything about her. Jeff talks to Nancy. Nancy talks to Denise. She hears what she wants to believe. Jeff tells her about pictures, no confidentiality. They should all meet together. Back and forth conversations and emails are like we are in high school. Jeff, no context for 2 months. Is this generic advice? What are you basing the progress on? Denise, question mark. She doesn't live in reality, exaggerates and believes what she wants. I have grown and changed, but she demands perfection. Finances, last hurdle. How can you advise someone when you don't ask or know what is going on with them? Narcissistic personality disorder. Jeff brought up emotional abuse. Wikipedia and highlighter. She hasn't budged. Is this about me or that she just loves her life and is being selfish? She can claim that I am blank forever. And this cuts off something. Believability issues examples. You pulling out a one-page letter after saying you hadn't thought about what to talk about with Zoda. Me asking you to share your list of topics that you wanted to discuss with Ron, and you telling me there is no list, and I don't even know how I could come up with that when you have a list that you emailed to Nancy. Making up reasons you wouldn't go scalloping. At least you did tell the truth after I begged you for the real reasons. Telling me you have no ideas of potential plans, making me beg you and refusing to tell me. When you text your friends, we may go to the beach. Making me feel crazy about you snatching phone out of my hands because you are scared I will read texts from Kevin Daniels. Topic of believability with Zoda. Text, small eyes, conversation last night. Denise said, more than not, my love for her is damaging. The Denise I married would never go into a prison and yell at the prisoners how much they deserve to be there. Yet she yells at me and reminds me constantly of how I deserve to be punished because of all I did to her. She could relate to them and cared and loved them. She didn't say, you don't deserve to be acknowledged and your feelings don't matter. It's not all about you. You put yourself here. She cared for them because there was a recognition that she is no better than them. So this is, I'm going to have to make this a little bit smaller. Oh, it's a lot smaller. Well, let me do 175. Okay. So February 7th, 2014, Denise is divorcing me. We met yesterday afternoon with Josh in the mains, and she wanted to speak first. So she read a letter that she wrote, starting with talking about our wedding vows and how I broke those vows to honor and cherish her. She is right. I broke all of them. She went through a detailed history of our marriage and described all the ways I had used and abused her. She went into great graphic details about how I used her sexually. I couldn't even look at her. I was so ashamed. I have never felt as ashamed as I was in that meeting. She said she had not seen enough change in me in the 2 years since this began with Eric, and that she was filing for divorce. I still can't believe it. I mean, I know she has plenty of reasons, but I just wish she would wait. I have finally gotten surrendered and honest with my sobriety, and now she is done. I don't understand God's timing. Maybe I am just lying or fooling myself, and he knows it. No, the reality is I abused her, and she is too hurt and damaged. She is too hurt and damaged to risk being with me anymore. February 11th, 2014. I don't think I know what reality is. Actually, I do know what my reality is. I don't know what Denise's reality is, and it doesn't matter. I had hoped she might wait. Jeff Main and Josh told me she didn't have an attorney, and she said she was not in any hurry to divorce. Either they lied or she did. I was really hopeful. She texted and asked me some questions about the past 90 days and who I had told that she was divorcing me. All of this gave me false hope, which was crushed today when she emailed me and told me the reason she did not want to tell the kids or Kathy is because she is scared that Cheryl will find out and it will be all in the papers or online. All she cared about was keeping this a secret to protect her reputation. I am devastated. I am numb. I fluctuate between waves of anger and sadness. I feel like a zombie. I want to do anything to change her mind, but I am powerless to stop her. I beg God to change her mind. I fluctuate between feeling betrayed and cheated to understanding her decision. I would think me even questioning your decision and trying to change your mind feels controlling to you. I do not want to argue. You know clearly my position. I do not want a divorce. Schindler's List quote, "Don't give up, you'll never find out what happened to you." My actions are indefensible. Addiction is not an excuse, it is a contributing factor. I made the choices, but they were all affected by my addiction. A sober person thinks clearly and can walk in a straight line. A drunk cannot think clearly or walk in a straight line, no matter how hard he wants to, or tries, or is told to. All of my thinking over the past 30 years have been influenced by porn. I have been wrong about so much in our marriage, and over the past 2 years, all of it has been influenced by the sin and porn in my life. Look how bad it was when this started. Me saying horrible things like bargaining, using babies. I know you have a much harder choice than I do. You have been the victim and you have been the one who has been hurt, and your soul has been chipped away at for years. I can't imagine what you have felt with every disapproving look, every eye roll, every sigh, every sarcastic remark, every time you had to drink to be able to do things I asked you to do, me having an opinion and a right way to do everything. I know I have control issues, and I have learned over the past 15 months where I learned it. It is not fun to live with. God has already given me a ministry to men who are desperate and hurting. I spent 2 hours on the phone at midnight with Brian S.A. So, yeah, that Brian is sex addict after his wife left. He said it's the first time he's been open to the idea of a higher power. You need actions, not words. Actions over time build trust. Would you marry the Brian you knew again? I plan on being better than that Brian. I am older and will be better. I'm going to turn this page and see what he said over here. Oh, wait. Wrong one. Hold on. The first turn was the right way. Okay. Let's see. It says, I can't imagine how difficult this decision is for you. You have a history of me being a liar and you not being able to trust me again. Or me. Again, these are my words. I would like time for actions to back these words up. I can't imagine the pain of living with a lying, controlling husband. Wait, what is this in my attitude? Action, I don't know where that lying in my attitude. I don't know. Controlling husband all this time and feeling like you have had no voice. This decision is yours, though, and you will live with it the rest of your life. For having gone through this experience, whether you stay with me or not, or if you continue to work my program towards sobriety, or if I continue to work my program towards sobriety, sorry, and continue to grow spiritually, I'm going to be a happier, more peaceful person. Let's see what this says over here. How sad will it be for you to have suffered through all of these years and me grow and change into a better man than the one you married, and you miss out on that? Okay, so that's what I want and have never had. Talking about going to be a happy, more peaceful person. Peace, I have realized even this week through Matt Chandler's sermons, this addiction doesn't make me hate myself. It is sin against a God who loved me so much. He let his son be killed for me. That's worse than any side effect it causes me. And getting sober, a better version of myself is not the answer. I will never be good enough, healthy enough, holy enough, peaceful enough. The best ever version of me is not going to make me happy. Wait, what does it say? Ron? Oh, this series on recovering redemption has been perfect for me during this time. I will do anything to save our marriage. Lie detector, post-nup agreement. Whatever you ask or need. You said you think I want to be with you for money? Let's do whatever it takes to eliminate that belief. It's never too late to do the right thing. I regret paying to send you to a secular program designed by Patrick Carnes. I think he's the best at diagnosing and treating sex addiction. Wait, I regret paying to send you to a. I don't know. I think that he's the best at diagnosing and treating sex addiction and codependency issues. But his solution are all based on self-protection and what is best for me. He does not acknowledge a gospel that asks us not what is best for ourselves, but what I can do to glorify God, which sometimes requires sacrificial actions that are not humanly understood or preferred. I know you have taken inventory of our marriage and see the reality of how abnormal and abusive it was. The costs have been great for you. I understand your desire to end that relationship. I'm not asking for that relationship to be renewed. I'm asking to rebuild from the foundation up a completely new marriage built with Jesus as the cornerstone of it. Oh. Where are we at? He is what made me worth marrying before. Where am I? And I slowly chiseled him out of my life. He didn't get angry and abandon me, though. He stood by and waited for me through these years of me rejecting him. He still loves me despite all I have done. How can I continue to live in sin when he loves me that much? I cannot, and I will not. I'm sorry to you and myself that I led us away from him. I asked you before we were separated, and you wrote that you wanted a husband who loves the Lord and more than not desires to serve him. That is what I want to be for myself. I hope you still want that and that you will wait to see if my actions are evidence of that. Okay. I was just seeing what he crossed out. Oh, okay, where are we at? I know that you want nothing to do with the Brian that has hurt you so deeply over these years. I understand you wanting to divorce that person. I believe that deep in your heart, though, you prefer to be married to the Brian that you made your vows to. I believe you would love being married to a Brian you love, or Brian who loves and serves you and puts your needs above his. A Brian who is honest with you, a Brian who loves you the right ways. Through God, I can be that man. You will only know if you wait and see. I feel like I have had scales on my eyes, and they have slowly been coming off over the past 2 years. I wish I could I wish I could have sped it up, but God has used many incidents to show me the truth about things. Lloyd's funeral, Ed's funeral, San Diego, conversations with Denise, sermons, Ron, Eric, Pine Grove, SAA meetings, Steve, Josh, Jeff, Nancy. Things have really accelerated over the past 3 months. Even this news that you want to divorce me has been good for me because it has confirmed several things. I have made you an idol. I can and do want to live even without you. I didn't feel that way a year ago. 2, I am motivated and will pursue this way of life with or without you. 3, I have lived through the pain of this week without medicating it, and God got me through it. If he can get me through this news, he can get me through anything. The only thing I can imagine to be as painful to me would be losing Stafford or Ansley. 1, I believe your decision is based on many things that have been and are hurtful to you, and your desire not to be hurt by me in the future. I am sure you could come up with 100 of reasons to divorce me. I believe that your realizations of how I have hurt you is high on that list. I don't think you are stuck in the past. I believe the past has been terribly painful because of me, and it takes a lot of time to deal with that pain. And you may still be going through that process, and maybe for a while. I hurt you over years. I can't imagine you are going to be over it in 3 months. What's that say? It says, she said she could not imagine ever treating me and I Never cared for her. Wait. Wait, she says she cannot imagine ever trusting me, sorry. Trusting me, and I never cared for her. Huh. Um 3, I believe your decision is partly based on a fear or assumption that the past will repeat itself. I don't think that's irrational or crazy. I understand it, but it does not make it true or predictable. The future will be based on the choices you and I make. I intend to make choices to be able to look in the mirror and not hate myself. Let's see what he crossed out. He crossed out, you put the word recovery in quotes. I'm not sure why or what that means. My belief is that you have suffered through experiences that have hurt you emotionally and spiritually, and that you are still in the beginning of the process of recovering from these experiences. Most experiences, professionals such as Carnes book quotes the old Al Anon piece of wisdom. My guess would be you started recovery when you started doing inventories of all you have lost and gone through when you went to Pine Grove. What is Pine Grove? Did she go to a recovery thing? I don't know. Where are we at? Noting nothing major the first year, that means that after a year of recovery, things will look extremely different. Doing anything that is not reversible may be premature. Also, the victim has much to do to work on her own healing. Once that foundation is there, a new relationship might be negotiated. Remember, the principal problem trauma victims have is reactivity. No, the principal problem trauma victims have is reactivity. During the initial phases of recovery, monitoring your reactivity to others is very important. The focus should remain on you, not the abuser. 160, the betrayal bond. I know that I am still at the beginning phase of my recovery, and my thoughts are still affected by my addiction. So, no, I do not believe you should make the permanent decision to break our covenant vow of marriage at this time. 5 and 6 are, although I act like it sometimes, I'm not God and will not speak for him. I understand that you have been told by Josh and the Mains that you have biblical grounds for divorce. I disagree with that opinion and interpretation of scripture. I agree with John Piper's. I am not a theologian, and there is no point in debating this with him. I disagree with that opinion and interpretation of scripture. I agree with John Piper's. Okay. Or you, we all have our own personal convictions. You have yours and I have mine. No matter who is right, I do not believe it is an unforgivable sin. One difference, though, is that I have been through a divorce. I know firsthand the guilt, shame, pain, hurt, anger, and sin that accompany it for the rest of your life. To me, even if you believe you have grounds, that does not mean you have to use them. I don't think the question should be, do I have grounds? But instead, what does God want me to do? What would bring him the most glory? I want to see what this says. I'm going to have to turn it because it's just much easier if I, or it's the other way. Wait, is that the one I just read? Yeah. My guess, did I already read this one? My guess would be you started recovery when you started doing, oh yeah, I already read that one. Let's see what this one says. View that the Bible does not allow for divorce, even in the cases of adultery. Our marriage is to be a picture of Christ and the church, and he never divorces us, no matter how unfaithful we are to him. Please read the attached Piper articles. Well, he divorced Kathy, so what's he talking about? He already got a divorce. I mean, come on, you freaking murdered somebody too. Hello. Okay. All right, so bring him to glory. It says, what would bring him to glory? I don't think Karn's view of what is best for me is the right question. Divorce affects more than you. It'll affect Stafford and Ansley and their children, our grandchildren. It'll affect both of our extended families. It will affect our friends. It will impact our church. At BB's birthday party, as I saw all the old pictures and as we took the new ones, I thought of how addiction to alcohol, drugs, and divorce have ravaged my dad's family. It affected all of my BB's kids, babies, I don't know, their children, and now the grandchildren. That's not the legacy I want for Stafford and Ansley. I want them to see and believe that God can heal the deepest wounds, that He can make beauty from ashes again. I want to show them that marriage is worth fighting and even suffering for, not to be martyrs or heroes to them, but to show them that the example of how Christ loves us, or to show them that example of how Christ loves us. I want to tell them that we did not make this marriage work. We couldn't. God did it when we surrendered it to Him. Let's just say, remember, I did not want Kathy back. I tried to get her back because I believed God wanted me to. Where are we? Okay, so I know it would take a supernatural act of grace on your part not to divorce me, but I trust God that He can give you that grace if you seek it. I believe marriage is not just for making us happy, but to make us holy. Think of the opportunities for sanctification we will miss out on if we divorce. I understand it would be easier to give up, walk away, and not risk any more pain, but consider the possibility that you might one day regret it. I hate divorce. God hates divorce. No, I don't believe in the myth of a friendly divorce. Even if we were friendly, which is highly unlikely, ask anyone who knows us. It will be filled with pain for you and me until we die. 8, every addict is different, Denise. Food, drugs, alcohol, sex. There are a million varieties of each type of addict. I do not force you to do anything, but I did pressure and manipulate you. You gave in to these tactics for reasons you will have to discover. I think you were wrong in saying it was because you loved me. That wasn't love for me, just like I wasn't loving you. But I do not believe that just because you and I did unloving, uncanny things to each other, that we did not love and care for each other. The things I did to you and the things you did with me were for selfish reasons. But I did and still do love you. I just need to learn how to love you properly. I want to learn how to care for you as I learn to love and care for myself. I don't think the wives of my sex addict friends would classify any of their husbands' sins as more caring because they left them out of it. It's all uncaring and painful, but I don't think it means they all don't care about or love their wives. We can love someone yet still sin against them. Ron said, I loved you, but my addiction negatively influenced my behaviors towards you. Just like alcohol affects one's abilities, so does sex addictions affects one's mind. 9, I have a different perspective on some of the things you wrote about. I don't think two people having different perspectives is unusual. My perspective is changing, however, as my mind is being renewed. My perspective on everything has been warped by my porn addiction. As I get further away from that, my mind will continue to change. I know God is changing my heart as well. I learned a lot from our conversation when you explained how, while you enjoyed many of the sexual activities we participated in, you mostly did them for my benefit. I never believed that before now. I believed you liked them almost as much as me, but just didn't like admitting it. I am seeing now how that was not true. I have realized that pushing someone to do things is abusive. Please understand that my perspective has been skewed by 30 years of drinking the poison of pornography. As that poison leaves my system over time, my viewpoints change as well. Oh, thanks. Oh, Charlotte, did I already thank you? Yeah, Charlotte, I thanked you. That's right. Oh, thanks, Sarah. Oh, I gifted too. Thank you. Thank you, baby. Um, um, yeah. True. Waitress, nurses. I've actually heard these words almost every day. Oh, wow. Really? And Clumby? Wow. Cooking separator, but yeah, he's very messed up. For real. For real. For real. Wow. We left him. Oh, thanks. Let me take a sip of this. To redirect it, Dayon? Are you talking about this writings are? Or what do you mean? It says you need to redirect the narrative of the convo. I'm not sure what you mean. Hi, Mirabella. Mirabelle. That's Mirabelle. Are you guys, are these interesting? Are you liking, or did you find these readings interesting? Or no? Good. I'm surprised there's not more people here, though. I don't get it. I just don't. I wish people would be more interested in other cases with me. I know they are with some people, but I don't know why. It's like hit or miss with me. All right. Yeah, thanks. Got 4 gifted memberships. Thank you. Okay, cool. I know there are a few people that. Oh, cool. Oh, really? Well, no, because I tried later last time. So I did it earlier today, later last night, and it was the same thing. It's okay, though. I'm still doing it for the few people that are interested in it. Okay. Oh, are they? Wow. Dang it. Okay, so where are we at? I don't remember where I just left off. It can be transferred. Oh, wait. 30 years of drinking. Okay, so talking about as the poison leaves my system over time, my viewpoints change as well. Examples of this, the Bible promises that I can be transformed by the renewing of my mind, and I will be able to learn the will of God. I do believe that I cared about and loved you in our marriage. I made horrible decisions and choices that were affected by my addiction. The addiction was not the reason. The reason is I am a sinner who made sinful choices. The addiction influenced my decision and choices. We become what we ingest. Would you not agree that my treatment of you got worse over time? That it culminated in me bargaining with you to keep porn in our marriage. I look back on those words with sorrow and disbelief at myself. Addictions are progressive by definition. They get worse if untreated. They are not an excuse for bad choices, but they do contribute to bad choices. The good news if treated, addictions can be broken, and I can get progressively better, kinder, as I replant myself near the streams of water that yield fruit over time. I have been planted near a polluted cesspool which produce fruits of selfish and cruel actions. It says addiction is like living in a fog, in a dark round in a dark room, and slowly the dem- the something demeanor dime what something is coming on. I can't tell if I can't read it because the dimmed suitor is coming on. Slowly I don't know. Dimmer. Oh. Anyway. Choices, and it says influence the actions and choices of the addict, but that does not remove the fact that it is a voluntary slavery. I'm not going to be a slave to that lifestyle anymore. Jesus pulled me out of it before, and as he's doing it again now, I do not plan on saying thanks and running back into that pit. I want to, as best as I can, stay close to the one who rescued me. I believe he allowed all of this for a reason, and that all of it, even if the worst moments, are more than what I deserve. Losing you would be hell for me, but I believe he could get me through it. Again, these are just words, many of which you have heard before in our past. The reason you heard them in the past and the reason I say them now is because they are true. Jesus turned my life around and your life around before we married. I believe he can do it again now if we let him. We could have a much better marriage than we ever did during the best of times. I truly believe that you would prefer to have a godly marriage with me than to get a divorce. We made vows before our church, our family, and God. We have broken some of those vows to love, honor, and cherish one another. I am sorry. Let's not add to those broken vows by tearing apart what God brought together. I love you and I believe you love me. Please stay married to me until death do us part. It says, why wait? Let me turn this around. The other one. Why wait? Don't base decision on these words. Give me time to see actions. You have not related to me. 11. I am asking you to wait not for 6 months or a year. I want what we promised for life. I can't put in time. I can't put in time frame. I can't put a time frame on how long it would take for you to see good or bad fruit. I know in the past I showed you in 1 week my bad fruit. I am not and never will be perfect, but I hope you will give yourself time to know for certain you are making the right decision. I would like time and opportunities or avenues for you to judge for yourself based on actions, not just words. Okay. Wait, where did I leave off? Where did I just leave off? Okay, losing you would be hell for me, but I believe I could get through it. Did I read all this? Whoa. I don't remember. Yeah, I did. Wow. When I was reading it over, it's like I don't remember reading that part. What is wrong with me? Because I am absorbing this as I'm reading it. That's why I'm kind of reading it. Huh. Okay, so now this is addressed to Denise, but even these letters that are addressed to him, I don't think he ever sent them to him. It's just like I feel like a lot of them is just one of those things you like write it out and like address it. This is what you would like to say to her, but I bet you, I mean, I don't think he ever gave this to her. It's like more of a journal, I would say, right? Some of them, like the emails, and I think like the typed up ones, and I mean, maybe sometimes he gave her the letters, but anyway, Denise, the other morning before I went to the airport, somehow the topic of Friday night, the night of the sweetheart court, came up. I was trying to tell you my feelings about the night and how hard it was going to be for me. I wanted you to listen to me. and try to be empathetic and just say you understood. That's all. Oh, thanks, Charlotte. Thanks, guys. So Charlotte and Sarah, thank you guys for who got the memberships, by the way. It doesn't show up on a StreamYard who gets them, so I never know who gets them because I rarely have the YouTube up, and I like I'll have one screen StreamYard on the other screen, the screen I'm sharing, so I don't have another screen to watch the YouTube side of it. But anybody in chat right now that got the gift memberships? But yeah, thanks, Charlotte, too. So that was all you gave. That was your second super chat. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys are very generous. Okay. Where are we at? So he's saying, listen to me and try to be empathetic and just say you understood. That's all. So he's saying, I wanted you to listen to me and try to be empathetic and just say you understood. That's all. But it turned into a huge argument. And I ended up telling you what Mike said to me 10 years ago about Ansley. He said there was no way he was going to let her grow up to be another damn Meryl. I know that hearing this hurts you and you feel like I and he and others hate you, but I wish you would put these defensive reactions aside and think about what he meant when he said that over a decade ago and why I feel the same way today. Well, who's Meryl? I don't know who Meryl. Do you guys know he did say the full name of I don't forget what it was. Does anybody know who that is? Meryl something. Is that like her mom maybe? I bet you it's her mom. I don't know. Um, I know that hearing this hurts you and you feel like oh wait, I already read that. I just read that part. Oh my Lord. Okay, so we're right here. How he feels the same today. Why do you think he said that? What do you think he meant? He wasn't referring to just you. He was referring to you and your sisters and your mom. He wasn't referring to your beauty or your brains. He wasn't referring to your sense of humor or your talents. He wasn't referring to your hobbies, tastes, likes, or dislikes. He was referring to the common threads that have flowed from your granny to your mom to your sisters to you and now to Ansley. I know this is hard to hear, but if we took a poll of people you all went to school with growing up and asked them to describe the Merrill girls in one word, what do you think people would say? Oh, Merrill is the last name. I see. He's saying he doesn't want him to be like a Merrill, like her grandmother and her mother, and Merrill's that must be her maiden name. Okay, it's gotta be. Anyway, said, ask them to describe the Merrill girls in one word. What would you think people would say? Words that come to my mind are snobs, stuck up, bitches, selfish, narcissistic, mean, conceited, fake, spoiled. You all share these character traits because of the ways your parents raised you. Unfortunately, now these character traits are being passed along now to Ansley. I would add lazy to this list, not because of how you do your occupation, but because of how you do the least required in your home. Our house is a constant wreck. Piles of boxes, letters, bills, packages, dishes, clothes, shoes, just overall messy and junky all the time for the past 7 years. On top of this is a layer of dust so bad we have had to throw away items because the dust has gotten so thick it won't come off. We are constantly out of dishes because they are dirty, piled around the sink. I constantly have run out of underwear or socks because the laundry piles up for weeks. Yet if Ansley wants to wear something tomorrow, you will wash, dry, and iron it nightly. You haven't ironed 10 shirts for me in 7 years. I have clothes I can't even wear because they are so wrinkled. Oh, pick up an iron, buddy. I mean, I get it. She shouldn't let the house go. But I mean, if you eat your clothes, just wash them and iron. Men could do that stuff too. Like, she's working too. So you could pitch in housework. Just, you're blaming her for your wrinkled shirt. Well, iron it. You're blaming her because you have to throw away underwears and socks that are dirty. Well, wash them. Like, It's funny. It's like, I mean, I get it if she's like being lazy and not doing anything, and like he does some stuff and she's just a slop. I don't know what the situation is, but how he's arguing about how and saying, I can't even wear shorts because they're wrinkled. Well, that's your fault. Just iron them. Like, what the heck? This is too funny. Anyway, uh, the sinks, showers and tubs are so stained they will have to be replaced. Our pantry was so dirty for so long there was a mouse shit all over the bottom shelf and appliances had to be thrown away. You will sit on the couch watching TV while I clean up around you. So if that's the case, then it is bullcrap. If he is like doing his part around the house and she's not doing crap, they're both working. Like yeah, I guess you could be mad, but just like I said, like you don't say you can't wear a shirt because it's wrinkled then. And you have to throw away socks and underwear because they're dirty and they haven't been cleaned for months. Well, laundry's not that hard to do. Anyway, where are we up? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? If I ever suggest working around the house, you get mad and act like that's all I let us do. Everything is messy, sloppy, dirty inside and out all the time. There were cobwebs hanging from our living room ceiling for over a year. Then there is the sleeping until 10 anytime you can. You get angry at me if I ever suggest getting up early for anything, work or play. I asked you to get up early to help me make breakfast for the kids so we could do devotions, and you did it like twice. I asked you to read several books on marriage or sex or idols. You didn't read any of them. I talked with Ainsley about why she wouldn't be going to the Luke Bryan concert, and then you took her. I asked you not to buy any more Hollister or Abercrombie clothes, and you went out a week later and bought Ainsley more. If I complain or suggest we eat at home instead of at a restaurant, you and Ainsley roll your eyes and complain about it. You have this constant need to be entertained. You never want to be just at home or, God forbid, work on a weekend. Movies, parties, eating out, shopping, football games, sports of all kinds. It is constant. Then the never ending traveling. We have been to Costa Rica, Belize, Chicago twice, Los Angeles twice, New York 3 times, Atlanta, Orlando, Jacksonville, Pensacola, West Palm Beach, Boca Grande, Colorado, North Carolina, Kauai Island, Bahamas, Panama City, Destin, Washington, and it's never enough. Now you're planning trips to Washington and a cruise to Europe. We are broke, but you want to spend thousands on more travel for you and Ansley. Your mom won't pay for a meal for her in laws, but she can travel the world with Mrs. Newton on the money your dad left her. She will let them live 3 blocks away, sitting in their feces. Who this is? I was when I was skimming over this last night, I was trying to figure out who she's saying is living in their feces. She will let them live 3 blocks away, sitting in their feces while she sits at home planning her next vacation. Who? That's what. Do you guys? Can you guys figure out who she's talking about? Your mom won't pay for a meal for her in-laws, but she can travel the world with Mrs. Newton on the money her dad left her. She will let them live 3 blocks away, sitting in their feces while she sits at home planning her next vacation. I can't share my feelings on things because when I do, I get shut out, which teaches me to stuff it and lie. I'm not allowed to criticize anything about you because for you, it means I don't like you, which is not true. I just don't like these character traits. I wrote all that on a Thursday. Now it is Saturday at noon, so let me go over the past 2 days. Yesterday, Friday, you took Ansley to a makeup artist to get hooched up in makeup for the sweetheart presentation. Then you took her to a hairstylist for her hair to be done. You put her in a dress she has to constantly pull up on the front of because it is falling down and she's worried about it. You buy the over you buy the overpriced pictures from Richards that we could take ourselves. Then you plan to take Ansley to meet her boyfriend out for dinner after I ask you not to. Um, where are we? where were we? Sorry, I looked at the chat. That's why I don't look at chat too much when I'm reading. So I do apologize that I'm not in chat that much. But when I gotta read, I gotta read. Where am I at though? See, I lose place. Okay, about the pictures. Oh, taking her. So he's saying that you plan and take Ansley to meet her boyfriend out for dinner after I ask you not to. Then the next morning, you text me to inform me that you and Ansley are headed to Atlanta for the weekend. We are broken, bleeding money, but you need to drive 500 miles road trip for some shopping and eating out and hanging out with friends? I guess you needed a break from your stressful week taking naps. Whoa, this is typical you. You have spent over 8,000 on shopping and eating out in the past 3 months, but that's just fine because you have plenty of cash to eat into the principal. And by shopping, I don't mean for the household, not Publix. I mean clothes, shoes, purses, knickknacks, jewelry, etc. And thank you so much for talking to me about this weekend and asking if I might have wanted us all to do something, or if I might have wanted to do something with Ansley. You have taught her to expect everything to be given to her, and she doesn't have to work for any reason. She expects to be constantly entertained, and you are her chauffeur and benefactor. Where do you go from here? She had a stretch limo for her 13th birthday, a trip to New York for Thanksgiving. Now a trip to London and Paris? What does she have left to look forward to? Nothing is ever enough for you two. She has not one athletic bone in her body, but you push her into these sports and teams that she isn't qualified to be on because of her wanting to hang out with the cool crowd. So then she's gone 6 nights a week, never a break, and you're gone too. Then when she's no good, you have to find a private instructor for a ridiculous fee, which is more time and more money, and you are gone more too. This is middle school sports, not the damn pros. And it's not just sports season and practices. It's your year-round conditioning for those sports. Oh, and let's not forget the year she needs multiple pairs of overpriced shoes, multiple athletic uniforms, practice uniforms, bags to carry it in, monogram drink cups, and of course, the high-performance sports drinks because water won't cut it for our athlete. Oh my god. I mean, that is ridiculous. If that's all true, yeah, I'd be a little bit mad too. You just called me after 10 hours of ignoring me while you are playing in Athens with Troy and Melissa, the guy that you have had a crush on for 10 years. I hope you enjoy your overnight visit at his house without your husband there. It's now 10 on Monday night. Ansley is in the shower because you just got home from your weekend trip. She has mono and is supposed to be getting extra rest, but you went out of your way on the way home to go by and see Honey Boo Boo's house. Well worth the time, I'm sure. This is a show about a retarded woman that I asked you not to watch with Ansley. And not only do you watch it with her, you take her you take her by to see the house and set Ansley up for a week at school being exhausted. These are your priorities? I cannot take this much longer. The obsessions with Ansley's clothes, name brands, the hobbies, the eating out, the traveling, the wastefulness, the laziness. Look at your emails and Ansley's Facebook. These are the things you care about. Hollister, Abercrombie, Coach, Anthropology, White House, Black Market, Under Armour, Lilly Pulitzer, on and on. What man should be so familiar with all these brands? Then the TV shows, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Housewives of Beverly Hills, Atlanta, Miami, Orange County, Project Runway, Toddlers and Tiaras, Say Yes to the Dress, Dance Moms, What Not to Wear, Teen Mom, Sex in the City, and on and on. There seems to be no room or desire in your life for a husband who will get in the way of all these things that are so important to you. I really don't think you want or need me. I'm not going to be last in line behind all this. I want the woman back that I married, the woman who cared more about Jesus than all this crap, the woman who went into prisons to share Jesus, even though she was scared and it wasn't what she really wanted to be doing. I want the woman back that cared more about her kids' spiritual lives than their social life. I want the Denise back that cared more about Jesus than herself. Wednesday, January 23rd. Tonight is church night for Ansley, but you decided to let her sleep all afternoon, skip church. Do you think it might have Anything to do with the fact that you ran her ragged this past weekend playing and didn't get back into town till 10 on a school night? These are your priorities. You needed to go and see Uncle Poodle, who Ansley liked on Facebook today, who came out as an HIV positive gay man last week and says he wants a show of his own to highlight what it is like being a gay in the South. These are the people you want your daughter following on Facebook? Wait, what does he say? You need to go by and see Uncle Poodle? What, did they go by and see him now? I'm a little bit confused. Did they go to his house or? Anyway, what does it say? Friday. You have just disinvited me to go to church with you in Ansley because Kathy called you and told you Stafford told her about the Miller Landing house. That's mature. I didn't want to tell him, but we went there to hunt and he asked me whose house it was, and I didn't want to lie to him. I never let him go in it. And this wasn't to hurt you, but I guess it gives you another excuse to shut me out and ignore my calls and texts. One day I will quit calling. I'm sick of you acting like like a middle school kid. Oh, and the $900 poodle is a great idea too, by the way. You can't tell your mom or sisters or Ansley no to anything, but you'll tell me no to everything. You don't want Ansley's focus to be on boys, but you'll let her put up pictures of boys in her bedroom and send her 20 pictures a day on Facebook? You act like what you let her take in daily has no effect on her, that there are not any consequences for all she absorbs from media and her friends. Having a rushed devotion and a talk every other week doesn't outweigh the onslaught of garbage she's exposed to constantly. And that goes for me and you too. Where'd that go? You just lost it. Okay, that goes for me and you too. There's no difference between the sex porn I absorbed and the emotional and materialistic porn you absorb nightly. You are creating a selfish, narcissistic, spoiled brat in Ansley. You can't play and sleep and never work and expect to not become a lazy, spoiled brat. People say just stick it out for 4 years and the kids will be gone. But that's not true with the Merrills. I can see Ansley never leaving, just like your sisters have never left your mom's house. And I guess how your mom is planning on moving back or moving Darla back in. Oh, I guess now your mom is planning on moving Darla back in. There is something wrong with 40-year-old women still hanging out at mom's house every day. I picture Ansley still expecting you to buy her lunches and dinners and take her clothes shopping forever. This is, of course, after her semesters abroad and ridiculously overpriced wedding where you both fly to New York to let her to get her a Vera Wang dress made or consult with Randy at Kleinfeld's. Typical day. I get up while you sleep in. I make breakfast while you sleep. Ansley comes down in a lousy mood wearing Hollister, which I have asked you not to buy. Rush through devotion with you and Ansley, watching the clock, worried she will miss out on her social time before school. You driving us to school like a maniac to get her every second to maintain her social status. Denise gets all her needs for attention, affection, acceptance, love, validation, self-worth, identity through Ansley. Ansley sitting in Denise's lap while she strokes her hair like she's a Barbie doll. Denise and Kathy and Ansley's inappropriate relationship. Why did you laugh last night? When I look back there and what does it say? Sitting there with Ansley. Ben, when I look back there and Ben was sitting there with Ansley. I'm not allowed to have an unmonitored conversation with my daughter. Apologies. Morning devotions, Luke Bryan concert, sin against me with porn. Ron, happiness is a choice. Denise, I agree. She focuses on Ansley. No apology. 2, no apology, no apology, no apology, no apology. Exercise, my way. Housework, hire maid. Yard work, I can hire someone. Ansley, give opinions. Denise has final say. Family, spend time with them. Finances, separated. No hiding or lying. 1, address, nervous, smiling, laughing, facial expressions. Oh, address, nervous, smiling, laughing, facial expressions. This is Leon County Sheriff's kidnapping. This is for the kidnapping thing. Victim is Denise. Subject Brian. Bottle with unknown liquid 4.6 ounces. Chem controlled substance identification. So remember, he said it was water. She said it was bleach. Because I mean, her theory is that he would have killed her probably. Even the detectives were trying to even put that in her head. Okay, so here's a letter to his son. Stafford's his son. So it says, Stafford, I know you asked me not to contact you, and I have respected that request for 2 months now. I just can't go any longer without letting you know some things. You can choose to stop reading and throw this away if you want to, but I hope you don't. You were right. I am a liar, a coward, a hypocrite, and despicable. I am all those things and worse. I am a horrible sinner who deserves to burn in hell. I don't know, and I can't imagine how you felt when you discovered all that crap on my phone. So remember, he discovered all that. We heard in that interview, he discovered all this stuff like that he was hanging out with prostitutions, basically buying prostitutions and stuff. He discovered that on his phone. They was calling him and stuff. Anyway, so he's saying, I can't imagine how you felt when you discovered all that crap on my phone. I'm sure it was very hurtful and painful to you. If I could go back and take it all away and not make those choices, I would. I am crushed and horrified that you have had to deal with this. Nobody wants their worst sins exposed, especially a parent to a son. I understand that you are hurt and angry by what I did. Nobody is as disappointed in me like I am in myself. That is not the person I wanted to be. I am deeply sorry to you for making those choices, and I am sorry for the pain discovering it has. What does that say? Has what you has caused you. Sorry, has caused you, Stafford. I gave up hope and lost it when Denise filed for divorce last fall, and I made horrible choices to try to numb that painful reality. I wish my faith was stronger and that I was not such an idolater. But I can't change the past. What's done is done, and I am sorry and regret what I have done. I hope that somehow you will forgive me, and I hope that our relationship can be reconciled. You are my only child, and I love you more than anyone or anything on this earth. I would die for you. I would kill to protect you. I love you, Stafford. I have always only wanted the best for you. I have always wanted you to be better and happier than me. I guess that is part of the reason I have pushed you so hard when I should have trusted God more. I'm sorry for pushing you instead of leading by example. I'm not asking you for anything. I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry. And these past 2 months have been the worst of my life. I miss you terribly. I have cried every day over what I did and over hurting you. I have been making different choices, and I hope to be able to tell you the truth about all of this and everything one day. I promise you that if and when we reconcile, I will be totally honest with you about everything. Actually, I'm going to ask you for one thing. Graham is very sick. This cancer and the treatment will most likely dramatically shorten her life. She and Granddaddy love you very much. Please make every effort to spend time with them, despite your feelings about me. I've always regretted not spending more time with my Graham before she died. So he's saying his mom and dad, all right. Anyway, I love you, Stafford, and again, I'm sorry. Love, Daddy. These are all before he's in prison. None of these are, at least so far, this is all before. A lot of them were dated 2012, 2014. These are all writings before. So basically, when they arrested him, they found a briefcase full of writings when they arrested him for the kidnapping. So this would have been before he went to jail. He wrote them, and then they found that and took it into evidence. So that's what these are. There's actually a picture. Where do I have it? I had it where there's a picture of the briefcase. Hold on, let me find it really quick. Where did I have it? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Wait, why aren't the files coming up? Where do I have? Oh, I have the files under Wade files because that's what. Yeah, hold on. It's under this. So that is pics of here. So this is the pictures, like the briefcase with all this stuff when they arrested him. So yeah, these were all before he got arrested. So it was all in his possession. So all those letters, obviously, he didn't give to her because this was all what he had in his possession. You know what I'm saying? So, and then of course the emails were when they got on his thing. But Denise. Anyway, okay, let's go back to this. Did I already read all this? Yeah. All right. So now we have Denise Winchester. This is the saying that they have what DVD with Stafford interview, which we already watched. Suspect form Brian, Panasonic Stafford Winchester. There's some Denise 2 CD interviews with interviews and voicemail recording. I requested all these actually too. See if I get them. I requested like I should like attach these things, and it was like requested some of the voicemail recordings, and so we'll see what they say. This is just the a report for the kidnapping. So the charges he got for the kidnapping Denise, that he actually got charged for, is kidnapping, inflict bodily harm or terrorize victim or other person, battery aggravated with a firearm or deadly device, domestic violence, burglary, conveyance armed, becomes armed with dangerous weapon. Because remember, he broke into her car. So then it just goes over. He was 45 at the time, at least when he got arrested. Okay. Okay. This shows all the property that they got. Note to staffer. CD with voicemail, spray bottle. Let's see what this says. I'm dying to know what that was really in there, because was he planning on killing her? He's acting like he wasn't, but I think he might have been. He said it was just a sheet to sleep with or whatever. She said there was like a like tarp kind of thing too that she thought. Now the other weapon he said was just a clip for his gun, which I believe it, because I mean she was the way she was describing it. It's thicker than a hammer, and she just assumed it was a weapon. But I do think there was a chance he was thinking he might kill her. I don't know, maybe like a murder unaliving thing. But I don't understand why they can't figure out what that liquid was. If they got the bottle, what's in the bottle? Was it bleach or was it water? Like, what the heck? I don't understand why it's not showing. All right. So narrative 8/5/2016. So this is the kidnapping. It says, on this date, the victim, Denise, reported the following. The morning 9:10 a.m., she got into her vehicle to get to work. As she was driving off, she noticed movement behind her, and it was her husband, Brian. He was climbing over the middle of the set of seats. He had a firearm in his hand. He demanded that she follow her instructions. When he told her to turn, she kept going straight. She drove to CVS. They talked in the car for an hour. He made threats to kill himself and harm her. She eventually talked him into going back to the truck and telling his dad what he did and get help. She told him she would meet him after work and talk. She drove him back to his truck, which was parked in the greenway across the street from her neighborhood. As he was getting out of the vehicle, he grabbed a book bag, 2 bleach bottles, some sheets, and another object she couldn't see what it was. He placed all the objects in the bed of his truck. I contacted the Violent Crimes Unit, and Detective Salvo was sent down to talk to Mrs. Winchester. So Detective Salvo took over the case and did the interview with Miss Winchester. On 9/3/2016, I was contacted by Hibbert. I met with Denise and assumed the investigation. She was taken up to the Violent Crimes Unit for interview. She advised me of the following. It's about basically going to say the same thing. She was leaving her house, drove in. He basically climbed over. He reached behind. Brian moved to the bucket seat behind the front passenger seat of Denise's vehicle. He reached behind her and grabbed her cell phone from her left ear. Oh, so it would be this side. So he reached behind her, grabbed her cell phone. Because remember, he even said, she was talking on the phone. He grabbed it. She recalls the left side of her face being grabbed while the phone was being taken from her. Brian stated, "Give me the effing phone," as he took it from her. Brian grabbed Denise's face while taking the phone from her. She yelled for help, but was uncertain if her sister answered the phone at the time. Brian was screaming at Denise and began demanding she drive a certain route in her vehicle. Denise ignored his demands and he stated he would hurt her. Denise asked, "What do you mean, hurt me?" Brian then pulled out a gun and Brian pushed the barrel of the gun into her ribs. He answered Denise's questions and stated, with this. So that's how he's going to hurt her, with this, the gun he's talking about. Denise described the gun as being dark in color. She believed it was a semi-automatic pistol. Denise appeared to have limited knowledge of firearms. To help determine what suspect weapon looked like, I used my cell phone, internet, and searched semi-automatic versus revolver on Google. One of the first photographs I located was a picture of... okay. Brian told Denise to go to a certain direction at the roundabout she was approaching. Denise thought to herself and decided to attempt to make it to the CVS pharmacy. She recalled seeing signs in the parking lot and she patronized the store previously that surveillance cameras were in use and thought it would be a safe place to get to safety. She advised she is unsure how she did not crash, as she believes she was swerving while driving due to being in fear. Let's see if I'm going to skip some of this because it does say Brian reached over and snatched the wheel to the right to force the vehicle towards the rear of the store after she turned into the parking lot. Denise was able to steer the vehicle left to the front of the store. She parked in the parking lot in front of the store to the left of the front door. Brian told her there were cameras and also advised he just wanted to talk. Denise stated they could talk at their current location. Brian remained behind the seats of the vehicle. He asked Denise to get back with him, but she declined. Denise told Brian she would talk to him from the driver's seat. Brian placed his hand over the seatbelt buckle so Denise could not take off her seatbelt. Denise had a plan in her head, which was to get out of the vehicle and run into CVS for help. Because of Brian holding the seatbelt, Denise was unable to do so. Brian locked the doors and Denise was crying. Brian told her not to cry as it would draw attention to them with customers coming in and out of the store. Denise kept telling Brian she would talk to him. Brian indicated that he wanted Denise to call the divorce off. The two had been going through a divorce for approximately 4 years. Denise was able to talk to Brian in a manner that eventually calmed him down. He sat back in the middle passenger seat and let go of the seat buckle. Brian kept his gun between his legs as they talked. During the conversation, Brian indicated he had to do this. The reason for doing so was because Denise blocked Brian from calling or text messaging her phone. Brian indicated he had nothing to live for. His mother was recently diagnosed with cancer. His 17-year-old son moved out of the residence to live with his mother, and Denise was moving forward with the divorce. He made statements indicating he wanted to kill himself. Brian made it known to Denise that he had hit rock bottom. Denise later recalled after Brian calmed down and during the conversation, she asked where he got the gun. Brian stated, "I got the gun to kill myself." She didn't know when or how Brian got the gun. He also made several statements throughout their conversation about losing everything and having nothing to live for. Denise thought Brian was going to kill himself in the parking lot. She asked, "Did you actually plan on killing both of us today?" Brian responded, "Well, me." Later in the interview, Denise recalled asking Brian if he really wanted to die today. Brian responded with a number percentage. Denise could not recall the exact number Brian used, but indicated it was above 95%. Denise told Brian if he was not sure, don't do it. She also told Brian she would not tell anyone. Being in fear, Denise agreed with what Brian was saying. Brian still made it known he wanted to talk to Denise. At one point, Brian called his father from his cell phone to talk. Denise told Brian, "We can work through this." She said she'd be willing to go to Brian's father's office to talk about their issues. Denise did not yell while Brian was on the phone with his father because he still had the gun. Denise heard Brian's father say he had a meeting at 11, and Brian asked his dad to call him after the meeting. Denise told Brian she needed to get to work so her coworkers would not be concerned with her not showing up to work. She was able to get Brian to agree to allow her to drive Brian back to his vehicle. The vehicle was located at the Greenway near whatever. The agreement was Denise would go to work and Brian could call her work phone. She would then meet Brian and his father outside of her work. Brian was okay with this, and Denise drove him back to his vehicle. Denise estimated that they sat in the parking lot for approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour. Denise told Brian she wouldn't tell anyone about the incident and added she would not contact law enforcement. When Denise arrived at the Greenway, Brian moved towards the back of her vehicle. He reached down into the compartment area of her vehicle and obtained a light tan sheet and something that looked like a sheet, a similar color to the first sheet, which sounded like a plastic material or something you'd use to paint. She also observed a large spray bottle described as an old-fashioned bleach bottle with a spray nozzle and an unknown tool she could not recall. Denise stated it was similar to a hammer but fatter. It was about the same length as a hammer. These items were placed into a black backpack with a white logo. Denise asked Brian where the gun was. He stated it was on the floor by his feet. He picked up the gun and placed it inside the backpack. Brian then entered the front zipper of the bag and obtained his keys. He started crying and asked, "What have I done? What have I done? And it's too late for us." Brian exited Denise's vehicle. He made a statement indicated he needed to get rid of the firearm. He got into his truck and Denise drove away. Denise drove south away from the Greenway. Okay, let's see. I'm going to skip some of this. Okay. So when they made contact with Brian, I asked if he knew why he was at the sheriff's office. Brian did not. I advised him of his Miranda warnings. Brian understood his rights and invoked them. He provided his attorney's name. And that's the one we watched, actually, that short little thing where he didn't want to talk. He wanted his attorney. So no questions were asked. They allowed Brian to call the office to speak to his attorney. He was arrested and transported to Leon County Jail. He was charged with kidnapping, domestic aggravated assault, and armed burglary. It should be denoted that Denise advised Brian has not driven or been in Denise's vehicle in years. Her vehicle is only registered in her name. I drafted search warrants for Brian's vehicle, briefcase in his possession at the time of his arrest, and 2 cell phones he had on his person during his arrest. So that he had the briefcase with all the writings in his possession. The warrants were approved and signed in the Honorable Judge Stephen. Okay. In the same search warrant, they got a search warrant for his vehicle and briefcase. Within the briefcase, I located numerous handwritten notes, printouts, typed communication, bank statements, court paperwork, several tri-folded pieces of yellow notebook paper, which each with a name on it. They appear to be unaliving notes. Yep, we read those yesterday. Written by Brian to the addressed person. Several yellow notepads were located in the briefcase along with loose pieces of paper. And these are just explaining some of the letters. One packet was papers filled out to cancel the planned divorce. The only missing part was Denise's signature. He was probably going to try to force her to sign that too. Probably why he had it with him. Anyway, where else? Oh, Denise had described a bleach one. Okay. About the gun. Okay. Contact. So they did find a clear generic spray bottle on the rear seat of the vehicle, approximately 24 ounces of unknown clear liquid. These 3 items were seized. What was the other one? Wait. Oh, it was something's redacted. Okay. Contact was me. Okay. On August 8th, I was made aware of a voicemail left on Denise's phone from Brian after the incident occurred on August 9th. Contact was made with Denise at her work. I listened to the voicemail. The voicemail was recorded on an agency-issued audio recorder. The envelope information revealed the message was sent Friday at 11:45. Denise identified the caller as Brian, and this is what it said. Hey, I just wanted to call and tell you that I went by Ron's, but he's not there. So I'm meeting Steve. And I guess my dad will call me and I'll tell him I want to meet with him, but I don't know what your schedule is like or his. But anyways, and you may not even want to do that. Honestly, Denise, if you decide to call whoever you decide to call, I understand. I hope not, but I mean, I can't believe this. But anyways, I guess call me if you want. I'm rambling on. I don't know what to say. I hope to talk to you later. And then additional message was left 57 seconds. A second recorded interview conducted with Denise at her job. During the interview, Denise advised Brian had knowledge she recently purchased new furniture and also is on birth control. She has no idea how Brian found out. A disc placed into evidence. Okay, that's redacted. Okay, that's email. Let's see. Oh, it says on August 19th, contact was made with Stafford and his mother, Kathy, was present. Both agreed to interview at the sheriff's office. Stafford provided the following information. Stafford and Brian, this is probably the interview we watched last week. Stafford and Brian moved into their Miller Landing Road, August 2015. There is a blank which still has items and boxes that have not been unpacked. Sometime in January or February, Stafford entered blank. He located a handgun in a holster on top of a nightstand. Stafford did not check to see if the gun was loaded and photographed it. He took a picture because he thought it was odd that the gun was there. When asked why he felt it was odd for the gun to be in the room, Stafford advised he only knew Brian to have hunting guns. Brian also had been acting emotional and thoughts about self-harm for a month or two prior to Stafford's discovery. Approximately 2 weeks after Stafford located the gun, he showed his mother, Kathy. And then Kathy emailed Brian about Stafford locating the gun. Brian had a conversation with Stafford about finding the gun. He told Brian he got the gun from a friend, Roman. His intention for the gun was to take it duck hunting and use it for pests. Stafford had no additional information. What is this? Dr. Nuno was identified as the Steve Brian mentioned in his voicemail to Denise. Dr. Manunkin agreed to speak with me in the presence of his attorney. The following was related. Dr. Nukin has known Brian for 12 years. They are close friends and live in the same neighborhood. Ooh, hold on, guys. How's everybody doing, though, by the way? Hold on. God, I didn't realize I have all these gosh darn numbers. All right. Okay. So yeah, he all right, so close friends. On Friday, August 15th or August 2016, Brian called Dr. Nukin. Brian told him that he hit a new low and would talk about the matter over lunch. The two agreed to meet at Village Plaza. Brian and Doctor arrived. Brian ate pizza. Doctor drank a soda. Brian appeared very nervous and uptight. He told the doctor that he went into his wife's car and hid inside of it. He got into a vehicle after discovering an unlocked door. Brian jumped out from the back and pulled a gun out when Denise got into the vehicle. He told Denise to drive and he needed to talk. The doctor asked Brian, "Did you pull the gun out or was it just on you?" And Brian stated, "No, I pulled it out and pointed it at her." Brian was nervous about talking, stated it was confidential and privileged. Brian said the police are after him. The police keep coming to him saying that his wife, once they're divorced, his wife is going to say something about this guy who died 10 or 12 years ago or 15 years ago. Dr. Nunkin knew who Brian was referring to and stated his name was something Williams. He added he never met the person. Brian wanted to talk to his wife and she wouldn't answer his calls. So this was the way he was going to get Denise to talk to him. Brian did not tell doctor that they spoke about it in the car. Doctor was freaked out about what Brian told him. Brian said it wouldn't matter because his wife was not going to say anything. Brian also said, I've done this once before. Brian went on to say, remember when I told you about that time in Atlanta? Brian told him again during lunch. He chased Denise up to Atlanta approximately 10 years ago before they were married and held her in a hotel room because she was with another guy. Um, During the conversation, Doctor and Brian went to Doctor's car. The doctor told Brian he needed some help or treatment and was looking at the situation from a psychology standpoint. Doctor stated Brian called two hospitals, one being the behavioral health and another, but neither answered. Doctor suggested Brian call his therapist, and an appointment was scheduled for 1700 hours. Doctor wanted to take Brian to the hospital right then and there because Doctor thought Brian was going to harm himself or unalive himself. Brian made those statements to Doctor, and he said he wanted to kill himself the night before the incident, Thursday night. Doctor knew Brian was going through a rough time with Denise leaving him and staff were being upset with him. Doctor believed Brian feels like he has no friends and no family and has nothing else to live for. He added he felt everything was falling apart. I asked what Doctor felt the motive was for the incident. He stated Brian was paranoid about police coming to his house, saying they were talking to Denise, and once the divorce was final, she was going to tell them what really happened with this guy that died. Brian thought the police were trying to get Brian or Denise to say something. See, I knew it. I'm like, they scared him probably to be like, ooh, she's going to say something. And he wasn't sure because she did go to the cops about the kidnapping and promised she wouldn't. So he wanted to get the deal. You know how they'll be like, I don't know, you want to be the first to get the deal because it scares you. They scare you to being like, oh, she's going to be talking. And like I said, sometimes they'll lie and say, oh, she's talking. She's spilling it all. She's telling them how you did it. Or, and then anyway. So yeah, so that's what that was for. Yep. Where are we at? Brian thought they were going to say something. Brian wanted to talk to Denise about that, but she wouldn't answer the phone. Brian's demeanor was very nervous and very uptight. Brian thought the police were after him with all the extra law enforcement in town due to Vice President being in town. Around 1300, Dr. Newkin went home. Brian said he was going to visit his father. The doctor later left to meet his therapist at Starbucks for coffee, which was scheduled 1400 hours. On the way to the Starbucks, the doctor recalled encountering a lot of traffic due to the Vice President Biden in town. This is how Dr. Newkin recalled the times. He arrived at Starbucks, got coffee. Due to the therapist being late, he brought the coffee to the therapist's office. On the way to the office, Brian calls him and states, Steve, we never had this conversation. This is real bad. I appreciate if we never had this conversation. Doctor said, okay, and that was the last time he spoke to Brian. He called Brian at 1800 hours to see how the meeting went, but he never picked up. He later received a call from another friend advising Brian was in jail. Doctor stated the lunch did not last very long. Brian told him what he did. It was quite shocking, and Doctor did not ask very many questions. They were at lunch 45 minutes to an hour. He believed they were at the restaurant for about 30 minutes and his car for 15 minutes. August 20th, I received a response from Brian Harris at Verizon Wireless. Attached was a response from the court order sent for Denise's phone. The data was placed on a disk. And what did it include? On August 23rd, contact was made with Roman. He responded to the sheriff for an interview. Roman stated he's friends with Brian. Brian did not tell Roman anything about the incident. Roman has visited Brian on a few occasions at the Leon County Jail. I asked Roman if he sold or gave a handgun to Brian. Oh, I have that interview too. I forgot. I didn't play that. Maybe we could watch this some other time. Roman denied having done so. So he denies having sold him the gun. But you remember Brian told his son that he sold him it. Anyway, Roman stated he owns 3 handguns, all of which were purchased some time ago. He believed they were all still at his residence. Roman had no additional information to provide. Roman later contacted me via phone and stated all the firearms he owns were accounted for. On August 23rd, I received an email from Roberta. The email contained files from the court order issued for Brian's phone. They were placed on a disk. She advised she did not see it well enough to be able to draw a sketch. So they're talking about Denise was asked to draw a sketch of the unknown toll she observed. On August 30th, I made contact with Deborah. I asked her if she received a phone call from Denise on the date of the incident. Denise advised she called Deborah after leaving her house, as she does every morning. Deborah stated she received a call from Denise that morning. She typically keeps her cell phone in the console and puts the phone on speakerphone. She heard Denise's voice but could not understand what was being stated. She believed it was a bad connection or a misdial. Deborah relayed this to Denise and stated that she would call her back. Deborah ended the call and attempted to call Denise back with negative results. So on 9/15, they were processing Denise's vehicle because he was hiding in the back of it. Okay, let's see. DNA, well, yeah, obviously that happened, so I'm just going to skip that. Okay, talking about calling Denise, telling her that Brian would remain in jail to his first appearance. On August 6th, having my agency issued cell phone number, I received a text from her, which included a photo of blank with the message, "This is the gun he used yesterday. This picture was taken by Brian's son, Stafford, at Brian's house about 8 weeks ago." I asked if Stafford sent it to her recently. Denise replied, "Stafford took the photo in Brian's house and sent it to Kathy. Kathy then sent me this photo today after finding out what happened yesterday. This is the same gun." Denise included her brother-in-law, David, in the same text. I asked Kathy, who? And David replied to my question. Kathy is Brian's wife. Or first wife. Stafford is their son. Wait, Denise included her brother-in-law, David, in the same text. I asked Kathy who. David replied to my question. I asked what Kathy's maiden name was, which Denise advised Kathy Aldridge. Then Stafford is 17 and this is their son, yes, which appeared to be responded to David's prior message. Denise included, they will both be willing to do anything to help. They are scared. Oh, there's another one. Hold on a second. There's a bunch of them. Dang. Well, I'm sure they're all different. Hold on one second, guys. I can't always miss something. I always miss something. What the heck? Why is there no more? That's weird. Hold on a second. Oh, because the freaking the watermark's not letting me do that. Hold on one second, guys. That's what I hate. Watermarks. Okay. I don't hate them, but I hate how they don't let you do anything. Let me just read some of this and then I'll share my screen in a minute. Says, I asked Kathy for current last name. Denise provided Kathy Thomas as the current last name. Denise relayed that she'd let Kathy know we might be calling her. August 7th, Denise sent me a text. I wanted to mention that I told them Brian was wearing a collared polo shirt, but I remember clearly now that it was a t-shirt. I think black with bright blue writing on the front, having to do with skiing, water skiing, like a brand something to do with water skiing. It came to me last night, so I wanted to tell someone. August 11th, I received a text that was sent to David from Denise. Denise stated, I just changed my cell, could not sleep, thinking about him texting or calling. Okay, now I can share this back. Okay, so let's see. Talking about seeing some galaxy, micro, so some of the evidence, which I'm just going to skip through, some of the stuff they collected. All right. Wait, what's the remarks? Yeah, I don't, yeah, okay. This even says liquid. It doesn't say what they find in it. I understand why they wouldn't write it. Okay, let's see. All the stuff. A lot of like DNA swabs and stuff from her car and stuff. I requested that, so hopefully I'll get that. I don't know though, because I asked him, like when I originally got it, I said, and she said no, so I did like a whole new request for it, so we'll see. Okay. I think this is next part's going to be Wade's part, but I'm not going to reread that because I read it in the live and I just released a pre-record reading it too. Oh, that part's not. Never mind. That isn't this part. This is a different one. Okay. Let me see. So this is on this date, victim Denise reported the following. Oh, that's just given another thing. Same thing. We already read the incident. See if there's anything new. Yeah, basically just a different report. Yeah, saying the same thing. Okay. Yep, same thing, same thing, same thing. Something Williams he added, and he never met in person. Brian would talk to. Yeah, same thing about the doctor. Let's see what this one is. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about taking DNA from like door handles and stuff. All right. Yeah, that's about that. The picture of the gun. Okay. So I'm not gonna. This is the part where I read Wade's part, which, like I said, if anybody missed that, go watch my last pre-record that I just made, and you could see what Wade's part in it is, how he's related to this case. But go to under my videos. So I don't know if you guys, some people might not be familiar. So if you go under my homepage, you know how they have live streams and videos. There's two different things. So if you go under my videos, is the pre-record. So that's where you'll find, even though I read it in a live, but if you just want that part, just go to the pre-record that I just released yesterday. Okay. I think there's still a little bit more writings, but maybe not. Hold on. Let's see. No, cool. We got through them. That's all the writings. What do you guys think? I thought those were kind of interesting, really. They were way more interesting than the first ones, I feel like. What did you guys think? Don't you think? I have a question though, just so I know for future readings. Was I reading it too fast? Like, was it like too fast where it was hard to follow? Because I was kind of, because I still have to, I'm trying to get done at a certain time at this live. So I was like, man, I was trying to like slow it down and be like, okay, wait, just slow down. I hope I'm not reading too fast. But were you guys able to follow it? I hope. Answer you what? What are you trying to ask? Ruby? Ruby Frankie? Or what do you mean? I don't know who. A different case, are you asking? I'm not sure who you are. Oh, cool. Good. Okay, cool, Deb. I don't know, Geraldine. I'm confused if they mean that. Oh, yeah, he is saying it's someone who has a YouTuber but got arrested. Yeah, that's Ruby Frankie. Yeah, yeah, that's Ruby and what's her name? Oh my God, I can't even think Jody Hildebrand or whatever. Yeah, there's some. Well, thanks. Cool. I'm glad. I was gonna do, but I don't have time tonight. I would recommend watching the cross of him. I could share the link, because that's interesting. So like I played no, not defense, the state asking the questions, the testimony of Brian, but the cross is kind of interesting. Here, I'll share which here. Let me show you where it's at here. You guys can watch this. 1 second. Let me get it. Let me go it. Let me get it. Let me get it. Hold on. Right. Let me scroll. Wait, I was just watching it. Why is it not in my history? That is so weird. I just was watching it right. But here, this one right here. I think this is, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, right here. This is the cross. It's good. You guys should watch this here. If you guys want to watch it. Brian, so it's for Denise's trial, for the murder trial, but Brian's testifying. And he does bring up about, they ask about Wade too, because he asks, about the instance with Wade, and how it wasn't allowed to be brought up in the plea deal, not for that case, because he's just testifying for that case, but for the kidnapping case, his case. So yeah, check it out. It's good. You know how crosses are always more like intense and entertaining in a way because they could get like heated, like because they ask the hard questions and they try, because it's the state's witness. So sorry I wasn't in chat a lot, guys. Wait, that was weird. Did you guys not see that turned green? So I have there's different settings you could do on the mic. Oh, you can't even see the mic on here. So there's different settings you could do live where it lights up as you talk, or you could just do a solid one, or you could do a pulsating light, or just it's just here, this. So I have it just on pink. So it just stays pink right now. Dude, it just turned green for 1 second. Swear to God. I shouldn't have done that. And then when I mute, oh, it's on mute. Oh my God. I'm trying to explain how it turns red when it's muted as I have it muted. You would think I would be able to see it, it would stick out, but it doesn't. Like the red light, you don't really look at it. But it just was green for a minute. I wish you guys could have seen it, or I wish the video could have seen it so I could rewind and see how long it stayed green, or if I was hallucinating. I swear I wasn't, though. All right, now I have to get it. All right. I can't get it in the perfect spot now that I want it. Okay. There we go. Wait, no. There. Hold on. My OCD here is I'm having a moment here. Okay, I think that's good. All right, guys. I don't know what's next. Like I said, I don't know if you guys were listening yesterday. I did order. I was bad. I know. I was like, I'm going to be done with Wade, but I was so curious that I ordered the messages from at the beginning. I had to do it so it'd be right when he went to jail for the murder. I ordered those messages. So those are done. I sent in the check 2 days ago, I think it was, or yesterday or whatever. So I should be getting those soon. So those will be interesting. It'll be a little bit different because it'll be right when he goes to jail. And the reason I wanted those so bad, because I want to see if he, we heard him admit to the murder on the phone calls. I want to see what he says. Because you know how he was being somewhat honest at the beginning when he first got arrested. I want to see if he says anything in his messages about the murder, because that has to come up, because that's like he just gets to jail. I want to see who he talks to. So I thought that could be pretty interesting, a little bit different than what we're used to, because like I said, that would have been 5 years prior to like the messages we're used to reading. It could be kind of interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to end it. I don't know what to do next. I know there's that one that you guys, Taisha was recommending. Oh, I don't know. I gotta find some good ones too. All right, guys, have a good one. No, but you know what? Actually, hold on. There was a part where I was reading an article, and it had like the audio where it said his confession, which I was trying to figure out if that was his confession from the testimony, or was that the confession from when he confessed from the interview. I did try to request that stuff now. Some of the stuff that I in the documents that said existed with this case. So we'll see if I get them. I requested like the interviews with him and stuff. So I don't know if it is, if it's available. So I might still have another video on this case if I get some of the stuff I requested. So we'll see. And also the Wade ones. I have a feeling they're going to reject me for that. They're not going to be able to find them, which I don't understand though. Like, would they just threw them away? Why would they throw away the freaking, you see that, I mean, we see that it's on a CD, Wade interview CD, like you just threw it away or something, or you lost it. And I think there's 3 different ones from different cases that show that it's on a freaking CD as interview. They all just disappeared. You know what I'm saying? What the heck? So I was thinking though, because I requested them all separately. So I was thinking, no, maybe if I re-request them, maybe like, because when they sent me these documents and I said, hey, what about these Wade interviews? And they said, oh, they're not available. I think that was just them being lazy. But if I send it in like separately and do the exact thing, I felt like, okay, maybe if I just request each one that they will go and find it. Don't know. I think I'll be interested to hear if they are available, to see like an interview of Wade from like 8 years ago, you know. All right, guys. Bye, everybody. I will be gone this weekend, so I don't think, unless if I come back Sunday and I feel like doing a live, but I might not. I might be tired. I'm not sure, because I'll be with my niece, which is, she's turning 5, and you know how 5-year-olds, you have to be like on your best, like energy wise, because they they take a lot of energy. All right, Fabio trial. Oh, when is that coming? Is that the one you were talking about, the Seminole? Oh, that's that one. Okay. I thought you said that's almost over though. You said that was on like day 19 and stuff. That's why it's almost like I feel like I'm so behind on that now though. There's no way I could catch up 19 days of a trial. But I don't know if I could maybe get some files for it. Like that could be interesting, but I'll have to see. All right, guys. Bye, everybody.